For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
This is not America. Sha-la-la-la-la. Little piece of you.
All right, welcome back to Talking Truth to Power, America and the Nevadas
and the whole
world.
And the world.
Talk radio, as long as there's still a worldwide internet.
Yeah.
Freedom Talk Radio, that is. And we're not the kind of freedom that denies other people their freedom, which people talk about all the time and advocate. But we're the kind of freedom that believes that everybody should be free in the sense that they should be able to live their lives without government interference in their own personal choices, unless their personal choices include violence and hatred. Well, not hatred, but violence against other people.
That's really good, man.
Yeah.
Is that your own?
Yeah, I just made it up on the fly.
It's damn good.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, it's been another week of propaganda and lies coming from the West about what the conflict in Ukraine, and basically admitting that we're going to have to suffer because of a border dispute in a far-off country that most people in America can't find on a map.
Mm-hmm. That's usually the case.
Yeah.
They can't find it on the map.
But this is a big deal.
Because they were instilling values and thoughts in public schools that were anathema to understanding the world that they lived in.
Exactly. The fact is that this is a big deal. This conflict in Ukraine is going to have reverberations for years, decades, maybe centuries, the way it's going now. And unless Russia capitulates, which I don't see in the cards, then this is going to affect the world order. It will be, in fact, another world order. They're rising out of this, and people should be aware of what's going on and try to sort through the propaganda and try to find the truth.
Well, it looks to me like an East-West version of Korea and Vietnam.
Okay.
We could be supporting the Ukrainians, and Biden has suggested as much this week.
Yes.
If he spoke out of turn or without process, that's one thing, but
because he's Irish.
Celtic.
That
was the Secret Service's code name for him, was Celtic.
Celtic.
Yeah.
But Liam Panetta said that Biden gets very emotional because he's Irish and he has Irish empathy for the world. If only it was true with all the Irish neocons that he has in the government now. You know, there's almost as many Irish neocons in the Biden administration as there are Jewish neocons.
They burn the midnight oil trying to protect this guy. It's quite amazing to see.
Yeah, how many times did they try to walk him back, and then he keeps coming back and saying, "No, I meant what I said." And then he was reading from cue cards.
Yeah.
During the Q&A,
mm-hmm.
And of course they tell him what reporters to pick on.
Yeah, it's prearranged. It's a choreographed event.
Yes. It's the state of journalism in the West is just awful, and they complain about all the censorship in the Eastern Bloc, but my goodness, this is self-censorship. This is like they're doing it to themselves.
Well, the East has come West now is basically what we're seeing.
Yeah.
And that's part of the grand design of the New World Order. To so alter the United States that it can be comfortably merged with the rest of the world.
Okay. I guess so, but right now I'm just concentrating on what's happening in real time as we speak, and things are looking a little bit better for us. There was some kind of breakthrough in the negotiations in Istanbul. At least the Ukrainians finally offered a concrete proposal in writing.
Well, that was the press release.
Yeah. We don't exactly know what's in it or whether it will be accepted as is. I doubt it'll be accepted as is.
Well, the State Department has effectively dialed it back already, haven't they?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they say they don't care about it. Our government is not interested in peace. It's interested in war that will not benefit the American people. As Tucker Carlson said, the war in Ukraine will cause massive food shortages, as the president himself admitted. And America has never experienced this kind of food shortage. Maybe that's part of the problem. We have never been invaded. I mean, the War of 1812 is a distant memory.
Very.
We were attacked at Pearl Harbor. We were attacked at 9/11, but that wasn't really an invasion.
We provoked an attack at Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, we did, and that's true.
Yeah.
But our history.
And this could be a revisit of the same formula.
It's very much like Syria. That's what I'm thinking. I mean,
sanctions are provocations.
Yes, sure they are. They're an act of war.
So
without an army, but they're an act of war.
It could have the same kind of result in the aftermath of these provocations that our provocation on Japan.
Yep. And actually, Pancho Villa did attack the United States around 1912 with the Waristas.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we forgot about
in Columbus,
that
New Mexico.
Leave it to Shanimal.
Yep.
Yeah,
Leave it to
Shanimal.
Damn that Pancho Villa.
Yeah. Viva Zapata.
Oh my gosh. Where's my canned laughter for Shanimal's incident?
All right, we weren't massively invaded anytime after the War of 1812. We'll put it that way.
You get points for that somewhere, Shanimal. Thank you.
What am I doing here?
Yeah. Well, he has signaled just about everything that we're talking about in this first segment, in this past week, in this trip to Poland.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we're going to send the troops to Ukraine, or he implied it.
Or we're training them in Poland to go to Ukraine.
To go to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which seems more likely.
Yeah. We're training the Ukrainians that are in Poland to go to Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he told U.S. troops that you will see it soon. You'll see that when you're there.
Yeah.
Huh?
Hi, this is Eddie Floyd. Let me tell you about my favorite non-profit public charity, Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary, located on the Forsythe Ranch in Hallelujah Junction area. And please go to www.wainemaranch.com. That's WYNEMA ranch.com.
What's ain't selling now, baby?
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now, back to the show.
And we essentially laid out his playbook.
In the Russian military playbook, that's straight out of their playbook.
Putin's well-known playbook. It's the Russian playbook. This is right out of the Russian playbook. Again, we've seen Putin's Syria playbook, Russian disinformation playbook. Biden responds, cyber attacks are part of the Russian playbook.
And so now they have resorted to the typical Russian playbook. This is a classic page out of a dictator's playbook.
Something that we see is in the playbook of Russia right now. Like a page from Russia's playbook.
Yeah, they got Russia's playbook, all right.
If you need me, I'll just be right over here reading the Russian playbook.
Oh my goodness, they have called everything wrong on CNN and Fox and MSNBC. They have no idea. They were talking about how Russia's invasion of Ukraine is not going according to plan. they don't have the Russian plans, just like they don't have the Russian playbook. Anybody that takes a look at it, this is one of the best operations, military operations that we have seen in modern times. They are exceeded what the United States even did in Iraq. They, I mean, Ukraine is at least 30% larger than Iraq and has twice as many people, and it has varied terrain. It's mostly flat, but there's still varied terrain there, unlike Iraq. And they don't understand exactly what the Russian tactics and strategy is. But they will, because their knee-jerk reaction with all these sanctions is going to bite everybody in the foot. There's already some pushback. Canadian Deputy Prime Minister was heckled at a meeting yesterday, demanding that she stop supporting the Ukrainians. And
from the Conservative side of the Parliament, or
not? No, it was at civilians.
Oh, okay.
The Canadian people. I mean, why not? After Trudeau did what he did to them for the truck convoy.
Sure, he can't be trusted for anything. Yeah.
No. So then we have, in fact, all kinds of video evidence coming out over the last few weeks that is destroying the narrative that Russia's forces are waging a brutal war, that they're raping people, that they're killing children, blowing up civilian houses. It's all being wiped away for anybody that wants to take a look at the videos that have been coming out. Now, some of them have already been banned. A couple of weeks ago, there were hundreds of videos showing how Ukrainian citizens were being taped to traffic poles with, wrapping tape or shipping tape. Mm-hmm. They were taped to the poles, their pants were pulled down, and they were beaten with rods. And this was going on, all over parts of Ukraine. Most of those videos originally came on Twitter. Twitter banned them, so you'd have to go to BitChute or Odyssey or someplace to find them. But enough people have seen it now. And then we have firsthand testimony from the survivors in Mariupol. And to a person, they all blame the Azov battalion for the atrocities that have gone on there. That it's the Ukrainians that were shooting at the citizens and preventing them from leaving the city along the evacuation trail. They
were their protection.
Yeah, they wouldn't allow them to escape.
The civilians were there.
They're using them as human shields.
Yes.
And again, the parallels with Syria are just amazing. That this was the same sort of thing that we had in Syria, but the Western media didn't report on it then, and they're not going to report on it now.
Well, this understanding that there was no provocation over the past 8 years is the absurd part.
All of a sudden, Putin woke up and went crazy and decided to invade.
Going after those evil Ukrainians.
He wants to restore the Soviet Union or some crap.
So that's what we do here.
The Russians are coming! The Russians are coming!
So that's what we do here on Talking Truth to Power, is we fill in these gaps for you.
Right. And Patrick Lancaster, a English-speaking journalist, independent, he's crowdfunded. He's been in Donbass for 8 years, and he went into a bunker that Azov was in, and there was the body of a dead woman with a swastika painted on her stomach in her own blood. So these are not these are animals.
Can't make that up.
No, you can't make that up. And so what is CNN and other outlets doing? They're trying to spin the story about moderate Nazis, just like they were moderate rebels in Syria.
Make Nazis great again.
This is CNN.
Yeah, they don't want to admit that these people are in some kind of satanic death cult, inspired by even the most extreme of the Waffen SS.
They've had a bad rap over the years. You know the thing.
They had some soldier was on there on CNN or BBC, I think it was, pointing to his patch on his arm. It said, all this means is international, it means national independence. It's just nationalism. And the patch was the SS, the Wolfsangle version of the SS, and also the Black Sun. You know what the Black Sun is?
No, what is it?
That was part of the occult. You know, the Nazis.
Oh, they were
into
very much
occult.
into the occult.
Yeah. So it's a sun, but the rays are bent like the arms of a swastika.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So, you know, and they even had pictures of Ukrainian women in the armed forces, and they had the Black Sun insignia too. So,
well, they don't want to be left out,
right? And also, you know, it's just amazing the spin that they're putting on this, and the Canadian government has been arming them, and we know that the vice president or vice premier Victoria Freeland, her grandfather was an actual Nazi who was in charge of propaganda in Eastern Europe during the war,
and also a member of the Council on Foreign Relations.
They're all in the same cult. So this has nothing to do with freedom and fighting for freedom and democracy, unless you take the most cynical view of democracy, which we're beginning to be exposed to.
We talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
The pejorative definition
of democracy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the democracy is the same as the science, you know. Yeah, so and then the only response of the West to a possible small breakthrough in the negotiations between Russia and the Ukraine is is to discourage the peace negotiation. All the reporters except for one, Ryan Grimm, who is the editor of The Intercept, he's not in the White House press corps, only on occasion.
He's no longer part of The Intercept?
He is the editor of The Intercept.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah, but he's also on this YouTube show, Rising, with Kim Iverson and Robbie Suave, the Libertarian. But he's usually just too mainstream. But in this case, he actually asked, why is nobody talking about facilitating the peace process? Every question we get from the Western media is all about what kind of escalation will you do if Putin does X? You know, why will you do after he does X? Nothing is about trying to facilitate the negotiated settlement. Mm-hmm. And you know, this is a small cabal of a few thousand
handful of people. They really want this war.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
And they're all ensconced in power because that's what the neocons did. They didn't go for elective office. They went for administrative positions.
Well, they love the wealth that it creates.
Yes.
But in the aftermath of the war is where the power happens.
Uh-huh.
And that's what's coming up ahead. That's what the grand reset is all about.
Yes. And already there's Kerry is complaining that we're not spending enough attention on global warming.
Yeah. Can you believe he gets away with that?
But that'll be next on the
He's a
agenda.
clown.
If they win in Ukraine, then that'll be the next thing. It'll be global warming. Already we're being told to buy electric cars.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
they're pushing us into electric cars.
That's right. And not only the electric cars, but in Germany they came out and said, if you're cold this winter, buy an extra sweater.
I did hear that.
So the best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway.
Well, it started off pretty good.
Oh man, the 25th Amendment. But if we do the 25th Amendment, we're going to wind up with Kamala as president
Temporarily.
Yeah.
But if Gates has his way, he's going to nominate Donald Trump as Speaker of the House.
Uh-huh.
Even though he does not represent a seat, a congressional district.
You could do that.
Yes, it's possible. And should that happen, then the transition would sweep Kamala's role quickly through that process, and Donald Trump becomes president of the United States.
She'd still be next in line.
She would.
He'd be third in line.
But she would then be vulnerable to impeachment as well. So if you do it in sequence, you see how that...
One after the other. I don't know what they could get her impeached for.
I think we have to push for that.
Yeah, but I mean, stupidity is not a reason for impeachment.
No, but you could imply unconstitutional behavior
Uh-huh.
by her governance of the border and and everything else she's tried to say.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Hey, welcome back. It's Talking Truth to Power. And we're back again. I'm your host, Brendan Trainor, my co-host, Leland Faegre. We have Shannon Lawson on the board, and occasionally contributing words of wisdom as we go on.
He outdid himself this morning, I'll tell you that. I met a lovely couple from the East Coast this weekend, and when I told her about the show, she became a big fan. I wanted to shout out to her. Her name is Kaylee. She's in Indianapolis. So
great.
Hope she's listening today.
Yeah.
And joining our Talking Truth to Power Facebook page.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, you know who's back in the news?
Let me see.
Hunter. Yeah. Hunter Biden is back in the news again, folks.
Well, he was always in the news. It was just that the propaganda media didn't find him worthy of discussion.
So this time he's actually been linked to the funding of U.S. biolabs.
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah.
You must be mistaken.
Well, there are emails linking him.
He's just been looking around for good deals on crack, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. He wanted to study the effects of crack on mice, for how they reacted to it.
I see.
That's all. So
it's the science.
He was sending money to an outfit called Metabiota.
He wasn't.
Yes, and that was in the had ties to the Seneca outfit that he was in charge of, and the thing is that it's also tied to the U.S. Agency for International Development, the George Soros Foundation, and the CDC. And then also the scientific supervision is carried out by the Los Alamos National Laboratory, which develops nuclear weapons.
Perfect.
Yes.
What could go wrong?
Your lying dog-faced pony shoulder.
So there are numerous documents that are posted, and the Russians, of course, are making a big deal out of it, and, well, they might.
They've got the evidence.
Yeah.
They've got
the receipts.
They've got the evidence.
Just like the chemical weapons that we sold to Saddam, we got the receipts for those too.
Just like we do when we address these kinds of concerns, is we always have the evidence. Oh, no, that's right. We don't have the evidence.
No, we just have to take our word for it.
Shut up.
Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby referred to the Russian claims as a bunch of malarkey. That's another Irish guy.
There's another Celtic, disparaging Celtic culture again.
Yes. Oh, gosh. Okay. So there were at least 11 biolabs, plus 2 other labs which were due to be constructed in Odessa and Kyiv. They were paid for by the U.S. Department of Defense, but they had nothing to do with weapons. They were just simply public health facilities, you see at Washoe County on 9th Street.
I feel much better now.
Yeah.
The adults are back in charge.
Yes. And, well, they should be. Also ties to the U.S. Defense Special Weapons Agency, DTRA. Oh, gosh. Maria Zakharova. I love Maria Zakharova.
Oh, she's the best.
Yeah. The United States may be developing deadly pathogens in its overseas laboratory. And there's a list of them here, and I can't name all these names, but there's supposedly...
You mean because you can't pronounce them?
I can't. I know. They're all, Escherichia coli.
There's 25 or 30 of these facilities, right?
Yes.
So...
And there's...
You'll have to excuse us if we can't get to all of them.
Well, yeah, but there's a whole list of viruses that they were looking at.
Sure.
Staphylococcus, that might be one that sounds familiar. That causes food poisoning and other infections. But there's a whole list of these things that we know these laboratories were involved in. And
you didn't take
none of them were aspirin.
You didn't take chemistry in high school, did you?
Yeah, I didn't take the diseases. This is germs.
Yeah, but I think you have a predisposition to understanding these things if you take chemistry.
So this has been brought up to the Security Council, but of course we know it's all malarkey. There's nothing to see here. Move along.
Shut up and take my money.
More Celtic disparagement. Gotta hate that.
So Metabiota, it was formerly known as Global Viral. Now that's interesting. So viral is gone.
It's global.
Globalist.
Yeah. Everything is global these days.
Yeah.
That's what we've been telling our listeners for a long time.
But they were only trying to make the world more resilient to epidemics.
Mm-hmm. So we're better prepared.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Of course, because...
in case something slips out.
Yeah. Because, to say anything else would put them in violation of the law, so that's their loophole, that they can say that we're merely trying to study them so we can be prepared to defeat them.
That's right, because the adults are back in charge.
Oh, Global Viral was also funded from Google and the Skoll Foundation. And of course, the funding was led by none other than Rosemont Seneca Partners. And that's a pretty big outfit. But so the emails that directly link Hunter to the funding is important, because otherwise he might say, well, that was another branch of Global Seneca,
Yeah, right.
Rosemont Seneca.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, gosh. So there was, of course, Devin Archer's name came up, a businessman and former Abercrombie and Fitch model who was Heinz' college classmate. John, that is the stepson, Christopher Heinz.
The heir to...
Yeah, the Heinz. Mm-hmm. Stepson of former U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry.
Is he concerned about climate change as well?
Yes, you think so?
I think he would be. Yeah.
Maybe if there was some kind of global virus and wiped out a lot of the people, then he wouldn't be so
wouldn't have
worried
any tomatoes anymore?
We wouldn't have any people or any more cows to belch and fart.
You know what it is, don't you? It's the corrosion of the culture.
And guess what? Since 2014, Metabiota has also partnered with Echo Health Alliance, linking it to disgraced Dr. Daszak, Dr. Fauci, and Dr. Collins, and the Wuhan Laboratories Bat Lady, Dr. Xi Jinping.
Gosh, I sure hope our listeners are taking notes.
Yes, I know it's complicated, but just have to keep in mind that Hunter Biden is a corrupt, drug-addled.
We choose truth over facts.
But he's the smartest man the president knows.
CNN has admitted that Hunter Biden was trading on his father's name to make a lot of money.
Yeah,
this is the first concession I'm aware of out of the propaganda media. Yeah,
we have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what.
We've got them all, folks.
And then guess who the Superman is in this? Who is our Clark Kent? It's Representative Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
No exceptions.
He got the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop inserted in the congressional record. And he got the FBI Assistant Director for Cybersecurity to admit he doesn't know where the laptop is.
Yeah, that's right. He said he doesn't know. He might not know.
Yeah, he may not know.
He might be telling the truth.
Yeah, it might be above his pay grade.
Yeah.
Even as assistant director for cybersecurity.
It's out in the middle of the Atlantic somewhere.
But we know that there are other copies out there, so he's getting that copy inserted into the congressional record. And then Matt Gaetz introduced a resolution to remove the security clearance for the intelligence community honchos who signed a letter claiming that the laptop was Russian disinformation. And that helped get the laptop censored, so American people didn't know about it before the election.
Right. And 51 intelligence elites signed on to that.
Right.
Saying there wasn't anything to it.
They're always trying to get these guys security clearance.
There's Clapper and Brennan and everybody around them.
Yeah, exactly. But one such former CIA officer who signed this statement, this letter, named John Cipher, claims he is proud that the letter helped lose the election for Trump. Because, you know,
how else are they going to defeat him?
Yeah, the current administration has been so successful.
Right.
You know?
well, Hunter started it, and then the elections fraud finished it.
Yeah,
that's how Trump was defeated. There was enough of it there. Bill Barr is lying through his teeth.
Yes, that's who said that, Bannon?
No, Bill Barr.
Bill Barr
said
no.
He's covering up. He says.
Oh yeah, he
says that there was not enough election.
He was shocked that President Biden didn't acknowledge this at the debate with Trump.
Right.
Just shocked.
Yeah.
You know, just like in Casablanca, I'm shocked.
The thing about Barr is his gift is that he has an attractive way about him. You know, his demeanor and his eloquence and that sort of thing. And he never gets riled up. You know, there's no real impassioned part of his rhetoric. But underneath him, that's where the real evil is.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station, the power of radio since 1967.
Sounds Jewish.
News be spread, the wicked old witch at last is dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch, oh witch, the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead.
There you go again. Always going off on Madeleine Albright.
I know you're not supposed to speak ill of the dead, but gosh darn it, sometimes you just can't help yourself.
You should have seen the acclaim on the CFR.org website.
Oh, I bet there was.
She was really tight, with that crowd.
Yeah. Well, I saw Ned Price's cloying tribute to her. Even though she was less than 5 feet tall, she was actually a munchkin, But
didn't they drop the flags for her and everything?
Yeah, I think so.
I think in D.C. they did, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Madeleine, the reason why she fits into this segment is She was born Jewish. But as a little girl, I think she was 6 years old, her parents fled Germany because of the Nazis. And guess what? The family was taken in by a Serbian family and given shelter. Now, her parents converted to Catholicism in 1941. Madeline claimed in 1997 that she never knew she was Jewish. She is what is known as a converso. In the long history of Jewish-Christian relationships, Jews often converted either because of real fears of physical discrimination or just for financial gain so they could go into businesses that were considered off limits for the Jews. They became converso. Now, some conversos, you could say that their conversion to Christianity was genuine, and I'm not saying that her family wasn't genuine. Maybe she really didn't know. But there is also in the converso history of the conversos, there were a lot of them that were Christians by day and Jews by night, is what the saying was. So we just don't really know about that. But whatever the outcome is, she seemed to have transferred her what would normally be conceived to be a fear of Germany and the Germans more into a fear of Orthodox Christians and Russia.
Russia?
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but in fact, there are quite a few, especially not so much in Israel. Putin's picture is on billboards in Israel. Putin is a national hero in Israel in some respects, but in the diaspora, the Jews that fled, they have a extreme hatred of Russia for perceived or perhaps real reasons, depending on the family. So she first became involved with democratic politics with Edward Muskie. She was mentored and then recruited by none other than Zbigniew Brzezinski. Yeah. Mika's father.
Yep. Yeah, another way of putting it. Yeah.
To be his national security advisor under Jimmy Carter. And of course, we know what he did. He armed the Mujahideen against the Russian-aligned government in Afghanistan.
It worked like a charm.
It did, yes. Absolutely no blowback. It was just an excellent example of how the neocons got something right.
He was just not just a neocon, but a member of the Council on Foreign Relations and the director of the Trilateral Commission.
Right.
There wasn't really anybody else higher than Brzezinski, except for David Rockefeller himself.
You're right, exactly. And his whole thing was to disrupt, to get the United States into Eurasia. He followed the theory that he who controls Eurasia controls the world. But that whole thing didn't work out very well.
Didn't play out
for all of us.
It looked good on paper.
Then she had a term as UN ambassador, which was pretty contentious, but then she was appointed Secretary of State by Bill Clinton in 1997.
That's where she really excelled.
Yes. Well, of course, she was the first woman Secretary of State. So
right there.
Yeah, so she deserves all honors for that. And at that time, she was the highest ranking female in the U.S. government.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
That's an easy one to answer.
And our friend Leon Panetta, he was the one that supported her candidacy.
Yeah.
There was an anybody but Albright movement that basically wanted Sam Nunn in there, but would take anybody else.
Who was also a CFR member.
Yeah.
Sam Nunn.
Well, you got to pick your poison.
Yeah, you got to have somebody in there. That's what it was for. It was like an employment agency, human resources for the elites.
Yes. During her tenure, Albright considerably influenced American foreign policy in Bosnia and Herzegovina and the Middle East. And, of course, one of the famous statements she made while she was carving out a Muslim state in Europe
Yeah.
Next to out of an Orthodox Christian state,
Genius.
Serbia.
It was absolute genius.
According to her memoirs, she argued with Colin Powell, who was then the chief of staff, Army chief of staff, before he became
also a member of the Council on Foreign Relations,
about the use of military force by asking, what's the point of you saying how we have this superb military if we can't just use it? Well,
that's a pretty good point.
Yeah.
On its face.
And of course, that led to her lobbying for the war with Iraq, which she lobbied for since at least 1998 when Clinton was still in office.
With all those weapons of mass destruction there?
Yes, all of them. You know, they were just brimming with them. We have the receipts. We know they had it. And then also, coincidentally, I suppose, a video has emerged in the last few weeks of how when Joe Biden was chair of the Foreign Relations Committee, he bragged about, he was the one that suggested that NATO bomb Belgrade, the capital of Serbia.
It was his suggestion?
It was his suggestion.
Yeah, he's been right about everything, hasn't he? God, he's got a perfect record.
Yeah, it was former Secretary of Defense William Gates, that famous quote that Biden has been wrong about every...
Gates.
Robert Gates.
Yeah, I think he served in total about 20, 25 years as chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations.
That's why he's so... His expertise, we can see it now.
Yep, it's very clear.
Now, and she
that
was
25th Amendment's looking better and better all the time, isn't it?
After she was Secretary of State and got us involved with the Iraq War, she that's also when involvement with the Iraq War led to another one of her very famous quotes, where she was asked by a reporter if the no-fly zone that we imposed over Iraq, which led to the death of 500,000 Iraqi children, was worth it. And
what did she say?
Well, she reflected for a minute. She said, well, it's a tough call, but yes, I think it was worth it.
What am I doing here?
So after that, she after her tenure as Secretary of State, she was involved with Wall Street, and then while she was involved with the Wall Street position, she served on the board of directors for the Council on Foreign Relations.
Did she? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And on the International Advisory Committee of the Brookings Center. Well, we're seeing a lot about the Brookings Institute people, too.
That's right.
Lately.
They're newsworthy. Who says women are the fairer sex? Anyway?
Yeah, and who says the world would be peaceful if it was run by women?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As of 2016, she became the Mortara Distinguished Professor of Diplomacy at the Georgetown University School of Foreign Service and the chairperson of the National Democratic Institute for International Affairs, the Council of... Well, she's had a checkered history. That's all we can say.
She really has. But you know what? The thing about the Russians is that the FEC, the Federal Elections Commission, has now fined the DNC and Hillary Clinton for lying about the funding of the debunked Russia dossier.